I want you to imagine something. Imagine you are 82 years old. You're sitting in a quiet room early in the morning. The house is still. The world outside hasn't fully woken up. Your hands are older now, thinner, slower. Your body doesn't move the way it once did. And you're thinking, not about what you still want, but about what you already lived. My name is Thomas. I'm 80 years old, and when you reach this age, your memories become louder than your ambitions. Let me tell you a story I've never told anyone, the full version of. The boy who wanted to escape. I grew up in a small 2-bedroom apartment above a grocery store. My father owned it. He worked 14 hours a day and smelled like onions and cardboard. My mother handled the register. We weren't miserable, but we were small. That's the word I remember most. Small. Small town. Small store. Small life. At 16, I decided I would not inherit that smallness. I didn't want to just survive. I wanted to expand. I wanted to be important. I wanted people to look at me and see success. So I left home at 18 with one suitcase and something burning inside me. Not passion. Proving energy. The hustle. Years in my 20s, I worked like a man possessed. 2 jobs, night classes, side businesses. I barely slept. When my friends went out, I stayed in. When they rested, I planned. I wasn't building a career. I was building armor. By 38, I had my own company. By 46, I had more money than my parents ever dreamed of. I bought a large house with a curved staircase and windows that stretched from floor to ceiling. The first night we moved in, I stood alone in the living room. I thought, this is it. I did it. But instead of peace, I felt pressure. Now, I had something to protect. Success is a hungry animal. Nobody tells you this. Success doesn't calm you. It demands to be fed. Once I reached one level, I became afraid of losing it. I checked numbers constantly, revenue, investments, market trends. I didn't enjoy vacations because I was worried about what was happening back at the office. Even at dinner, part of my brain was somewhere else. My wife once reached across the table and said, "Where do you go when you disappear like that?" I laughed it off, but she was right. I was never fully anywhere, not at work, not at home, not even inside myself. The moment that broke me. When I was 52, something happened that shifted everything. I was scheduled to speak at a large industry conference, hundreds of people, big stage, bright lights. That same week, my mother was admitted to the hospital unexpectedly. The doctor said it was serious but stable. I had a choice. Stay or fly out for the conference. I chose the conference. I told myself it was important, that she would understand. She passed away 2 days later. I wasn't there. For years, I defended my decision logically. She knew I loved her. It was already scheduled. It wouldn't have changed the outcome. But none of those arguments softened the truth. I chose visibility over presence, and that realization followed me like a shadow. Retirement didn't fix it. I retired at 67. People congratulated me. They said, "Now you can finally relax." But when the noise stopped, the meetings, the calls, the urgency, I was left alone with myself. and I didn't know who that was. Without the company, without the title, without the busyness. Who was Samuel? That question scared me more than bankruptcy ever did. Because I had built an identity on doing, not being. What I learned, watching my friends, age. As the years passed, I watched people grow older in two very different ways. Some became bitter. They replayed old victories. They compared grandchildren. They complained about politics, neighbors, their bodies. They were still fighting life. Others softened. They accepted limitations. They laughed at their forgetfulness. They listened more than they spoke. The difference wasn't money. It was surrender, not giving up on life, but giving up the need to control it. The realization at 79. At 79, I had a quiet morning that changed me. I was sitting on my porch watching sunlight move slowly across the yard. No phone, no schedule, no urgency. And I felt something rare. Enoughness. Nothing spectacular was happening. No applause. No achievement. No milestone. Just existence. And it struck me. I had spent decades trying to outrun a feeling of inadequacy that only existed in my own mind. I was never actually small. I just believed I was. And I tried to build something big enough to cancel that belief. But beliefs don't dissolve through accumulation. They dissolve through acceptance. What freedom actually is. Freedom is not the absence of responsibility. It's the absence of inner war. It's waking up and not needing the day to validate you. It's allowing someone else to shine without feeling dimmed. It's forgiving yourself for the years you didn't know better. I wasted time chasing importance. What I truly wanted was peace. And peace was never hiding in a corner office. It was waiting in stillness. If you're young, listen carefully. If you are in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, you probably feel behind in something. Behind financially. Behind socially. Behind professionally. I felt that too. But here's the truth from someone who has crossed most of life's milestones. There is no final level where insecurity disappears. You don't wake up one day magically complete because you achieved enough. The insecurity either rules you or you question it. Ask yourself, who would I be if I stopped trying to impress anyone? Who would I be if I stopped comparing? Who would I be if I believed I was already worthy? That version of you is closer than you think. The sentence that almost ruined my life. I'll be happy when. That sentence nearly stole everything from me. I'll be happy when the company grows. I'll be happy when the house is paid off. I'll be happy when I retire. I'll be happy when I feel secure. But happiness doesn't wait at the end of effort. It lives in participation, in noticing, in being here. Now, at 85, my body is slower. My circle is smaller. My ambitions are quieter, but my mind is clearer than it has ever been. If I could go back, I wouldn't erase my ambition. I would just hold it differently. I would chase goals without attaching my worth to them. I would show up to the conference and to the hospital. I would build the company, but not at the expense of my presence. I would measure success not just by income, but by intimacy. Let me leave you with this. You don't need to shrink your dreams. You just need to stop believing your value depends on achieving them. You are not behind. You are not unfinished. You are not waiting to become enough. You already are. And if you understand that before 82, you will live lighter than I did.